All right, we are live. Dude, it's been a while that we've done the show. It's been a while. This is episode number 49. But what's interesting is, we've been going live here and there, but the official Automate Your Agency show, like, it's been on pause for a while. I know you're probably thinking, well, you guys said you'll be consistent every single week. And, like, we know, all right, we know. We missed a couple weeks here and there. But the cool thing is, all of our past shows are still archived in the guide section. So if you want to learn more about systems, automations, hiring, whatever it is, building a remote team, it's all in the guide section. If you want someone to personalize the information for you, reach out to Daniel Flowers. He's an admin in this group. His main job is to make sure that you get the right training into your hands from the guide section, right? Because there's like 50 plus hours of content there, and it's hard to have to go through all of that, right? So anyway, welcome to the Automate Your Agency show, right? This is brought to you by the Agency Rocket Fuel team. I have my business partner here, Reynard. Dude, how are you, man?
I'm good. It's been a while since we've hopped on here.
How's the baby?
so she's good. She's good. We fed her real food for the first time like yesterday. So she's growing. It happens quickly. It's like 6 months just went by. Just like yeah, it's been good. Other than that, it's just like yeah, just going along. So yeah, how about you? How's been everything?
Good,
Since we haven't been
man.
on the show in a while.
Good. I only have a plant, so I don't have any kid stories to tell. But no, it's been good. Just yeah, just working on the business, and it's my mother's birthday this coming Saturday, so we're gonna head out,
Nice.
celebrate and all that. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
Awesome.
So on this show, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about how you can build a support ticket system into your business. To be honest, the build out is actually super simple, but because it's so simple, most people don't do it, right? And it'll save you a lot of time because if you think about it, agencies spend so much time just speaking with clients or clients emailing them or messaging them, having, wanting to change something or asking a question or, whatever it is, right? They have all these different requests. And what ends up happening is, a client messages you, you're like, all right, we'll do it, but then you forget. So maybe you write it down, or if you don't write it down, you put it in your project management software. Weeks go by and you're like, oh shit, I didn't do it. So this just eliminates all of that. It just streamlines a lot of your support, right? And it trains your clients as well. It gives them the behavior to not reach out to you anymore and to rely on the support ticket system, right? So yeah, that's basically what we're gonna do. We're gonna teach you how to build it, but at the same time, we're gonna kind of convince you why it's necessary, right? Reynard, like, what is I mean, I kind of shared, right? But like, what is the support ticket system and why is it like important, right, for agencies?
Yeah, for sure. So like support ticket system is basically a streamlined way for your clients to send in requests for support or communication, right? Like Brad said, most of agency work is talking to clients. I know there's fulfillment and stuff, but when it becomes ongoing, most of the work is really communicating to clients. Like how many of us spend most of our time trying to get assets during onboarding, trying to get all these things? How many of our hours are spent, getting an email from a client having a request to take down an ad or to change a logo, to change a page on the website. So a lot of our work revolves around getting requests from clients or getting communication from clients based on what's happening in the service, right? And because of that, it can happen everywhere. You might have clients that reach out to you over phone, over text, over WhatsApp, over email, in person. They drop by your office or like go by your house. Like, hey, why is my ad not working? So clients have multiple ways to do that and the reason is not because clients want to reach you in multiple ways. Mostly, some do, but like for the most part, the reason why they reach out to you in so many different ways is because you have not set a standard in which to be reached out to, right? Even if you tell them phone, it's like, yeah, I'll reach out to you phone. So what does phone mean? Phone includes Messenger, includes WhatsApp, includes Instagram, includes email, right? And you say phone, right? It's not very clear, right? So what the ticket system does is it makes very clear for the client that, hey, if you want to reach out for a specific kind of support, the best way to do it is through this form or whatever it is, right? And you can then assure the client that that form will be tracked, that will be monitored, and that requests there will get done, right? And that's really important, I believe, from a client expectation setting process, right, Fran? Like How does that help in the sales side? You see, of course, with the fulfillment makes sense, but what do you see? You know, improves on the sales side as well if we're able to have this system for an agency.
Yeah, one, it just shows that you're working with a streamlined agency, right? It just shows that, all right, like we've done this in the past and here's the best way to do it. And so that in itself, it just increases the stake, right? Where it's like, wow, I'm working with a company that knows their shit, right? And I said shit 2 times already. So and
Mhm.
then second also is it just, it trains the client, right? Because sometimes what happens is when a client has a question, they reach out to their account manager, they might even reach out to their salesperson, right? Which is that's not the best use of the time for a salesperson. So it just removes all of that, right? It just removes all of that. Okay. And yeah, it just kind of shows that you know what you're doing. There's a right system to it. And the cool thing about that too is if you think about it, right? If you do it manually, let's say through email, Slack, Messenger, that's how you get requests, that tends to have things fall through the cracks. And if things fall through the cracks, that's a bad experience for the client. And if client has a bad experience, then they might not retain. And if they won't retain, they might not recommend clients, right? So it's just I just kind of map that out, but it does help with sales, right? Just making sure that work actually gets done and the support requests are fulfilled on, right? If that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, and I think the biggest part is that being able to set an expectation of a service and being able to easily fulfill it when you do. So, like on the sales side, like Ryan said, you can tell them, hey, we have a very streamlined process, unlike other agencies where they communicate with you on phone, email, wherever, anywhere. We have this simple form, this one place where you can submit a request, and we're able to deliver back to you an answer or actually a deliverable within a set period of time. So now that you're able to set that expectation in sales, it's most likely going to be fulfilled because you have a system actually running on the back end that's achieving that, right? So again, we're all about when we build systems, we're all about creating integration from the end to end, right? The reason why having great systems, just like this is one of many, is because you can do something in fulfillment and you can confidently offer it on sales, right? How many of us go through this weird thing where we offer something and then when we try to fulfill it's like, oh shit, like I'm not actually doing the exact thing I promised, or like it's different every client because you don't have a process, right? So when you have a very clear process on your fulfillment and you have good systems, your sales naturally becomes, I guess, more confident, right? When you do sales you become more confident because you have something in place to meet those expectations, and more importantly, build on those expectations and deliver on them, right? So that's kind of like another, reason why having the system can actually improve not only the fulfillment, but even like how you sell, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like the point there.
So here, before we dive into the actual build out of the system, we'll show you like how we do it in ARF. I'd love to show you like, we implement like basically what we're going to teach you. And then Rena's going to walk you through just a very simple setup. It's actually super simple, but I think it's important that you understand how the philosophy works, right? The old way is, if you guys can just imagine with me for a minute, the old way is client messages to you through a communication channel, whether that's email, Slack, or, or phone, right? Text message, right? Or even call you, right? And the process is owner or account manager takes down that information. Maybe they make a mental note or they write it down. And whenever they have time in their day, they might tell the right person about the task, right? Maybe change the image, or
Yeah.
they might tell the media buyer or the creative person. Or, best case scenario, they'll put it on Asana. But they put all the details there, and then they'll tag the person or sign the right due date, right? That's typically how it goes, right? The risk to that is you can forget it, right? You might forget, or like you put in the wrong information, right? And that's even worse. So there's
Mhm.
like that's one thing. That's the old way. The new way is this, all right? Client messages you, same communication channel, email, Slack, whatever. They send in the request. Instead of you just saying, yeah, sure, we'll do it, what you'll do is you'll send them a form and say, hey, got it, just so we make sure that this actually gets done and it gets routed to the right person, the right systems. Can you fill up this support ticket form? All right. And once you do that every single time and you train your clients, and especially when you set the expectation up front and onboarding, they're not even going to reach out to you anymore, right? They're just going to go straight to the support ticket system. And there's also, you also need to be like when clients are pushing for, like that communication channel, you just need to tell them like, hey, this is the process. This is the best way for us to see it work. You're going to have to follow the system. Okay. So that's the new way. And that's what we're going to build, right? We're basically just introducing a form, an entry, right, to the support ticket system, and that's what the clients are going to do, right? Does that make sense, right?
Nice. Yeah, for sure. I think you make a really good point in the last piece, which is you can tell a client that, hey, if you submit it this way, you're most likely going to get success, right? It's always tied to success. And again, it'd be very, if you have a system in place, you're able to use it with other clients, and you have clients complimenting you guys that, hey, thank you for really installing the support ticket system. No other provider has done it with me. It's so easy now to reach out for you guys. Even if you're an agency, it feels like I'm working with like a product team or a software or whatever. It's very easy. So you can use that and tie it to a testimonial, and you're like, all five of we had five clients who've gone through, and because of the system they've had success. You can see here. Now you've basically trained them to believe that, oh, the best way to succeed after I've dropped like 5 grand on this guy is to use this system. So again, it's the integration from sales to fulfillment that really allows you to build a more streamlined agency, makes you know what you're selling and you know how you're gonna fulfill it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that makes sense. And yeah, it's very very simple, like you said.
Yep. And so I'll give you an example, right? Um, well, I'm going to share my screen, but I realize I'm on a different browser. So I need to, you know, I need to do
And
this.
share a window, right, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I should have thought about this before I did this. I can't share my screen. Well, let me do this.
Really, it should say entire screen window or
No, because I switched to, I hate this, but I switched to Edge, Microsoft Edge. So I lost the permission to
uh,
capture the screen.
uh,
Can you share your screen though? Can you?
are you
I'm just gonna
showing
share.
the RF support
Yeah,
page?
the RF support. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I can share it if I can find it. Wait,
it's
support.
yeah, /RF dash support.
And now everyone is gonna send
That's
their
all right,
random
man.
support tickets. I'm kidding.
They don't. Yeah, I know, right? We'll know, guys.
All good.
We know who's watching, so we'll see you.
Yes, sir. All right, cool. So let me share my screen. Hmm, Is that working? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there
there.
you go.
You have to enter it in. All right.
Boom.
So this is our support form. So we'll preface it by saying you don't have to make something this complicated. So we have it on our website and all that, which looks nice, but please don't complicate life.
We just wanted
Make
to
sure
show
you
off.
have yeah, yeah. Make sure you have something that's usable first, and we'll show you how to build it. So don't worry. But something in the end, you want a usable system over a fancy system, right? So if you have any systems, you watch all our shows, and you're like, I'm gonna build all this, but you never use it, then you have a problem. So every system has its own place and time in terms of complexity and usability. So please, like, I preface all of this by saying, don't have to complicate. You don't need a website. You don't need like a type form or whatever. I will show you how to build it really simple. But here is our support form. So you can see, please complete this form to submit your support request. There are 3 kinds of support, but there are 5 because we like to break the mold like that. So, so there are multiple kinds of support here, and we make clear. Again, it's all about expectation setting and communicating, right? With us, we've found that the number of the different kinds of support we provide have been, they fall into 5 different categories, and the reason why we've come to outline them like this is because, like Fran said, if you have a streamlined system, you should be able to route certain requests to specific people directly, right? So, but again, if you're starting out, it's all cool. If you have like one support ticket, one type routed to one person, and they do the manual sifting. But over time, as you iterate and improve the system, you should be able to identify, oh, I'm getting these kinds of support requests, these kinds. And then you can add it here. So now it's easier for the client to choose. They're educated on what to choose, and most importantly, it will be routed to the right person. But you don't have to complicate it to start, right? Again, usability over, fanciness or
Complexity.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Complexity, exactly. So here we have technical support, fulfillment support, and so forth. So when a client goes down, we have a client ID that we assign to all clients. So this is another key piece of the Rocket OS system. If you want to learn more about that, reach out to Franz and Daniel. He'll give you all the details regarding that. But we have this the client ID system, which makes sure that no matter who it is, if you have 2 Laura clients, if you have 2 clients named John or James, it's not gonna matter. Their support request will go in the right place. So they're gonna put their ID. So let's say 10 or whatever. Describe the subject of their request. Help me set up automation. And here are the 5 types of support we have, and so forth. Questions: what have you done to solve this? And now we click submit, and it will be sent. And what happens when you click submit here is it will be routed automatically to an Asana project, which is our project management software of choice. And it's going to be assigned to one of our system engineers who build out our clients' automations. So very streamlined, very easy. Our clients don't, even if we have Slack, actually we have a Slack, we have Asana, we have so many ways to communicate with our clients, but each channel has a purpose. Like we already tell our clients, Slack is for this, Asana is for actions, Slack is more for like one-off conversations. But if you need requests, if you need support for a specific action item when it comes to your automations, your process, your offer, whatever it is, fill out this request form so we can get you the help you need ASAP. Right? So they submit, and that's it, and that's done. And now it's very easy for us to see this come in our back end of things, right? So yeah, I believe that's pretty much it. Fran,
Yeah.
what do you have that here?
So let's summarize it, guys. All right. So form to capture all the information from the client, right? That form creates a task somewhere in your project management software, and most project management softwares can do that, right? The task gets created, all the information is added on the task. If you know how to automate stuff, it can assign the right person based on the support request type that they're asking for, and it will add a due date, right? Maybe plus 2 or 3 business days. Okay. And so that way you're streamlining the entire process because the client goes straight to the person that has to fulfill this request. Right. So if it's a change in your creative, you might tag in the creative specialist, right? If it's a change in targeting, then it might assign it to the media buyer, right? If they just want to hop on a call, it might assign it to the account manager, right? And there's ways to do this. So yeah, that's basically the support ticket system. Ours is a fancy website, um, but you could do it in a simple Google form, right, Reynard? Or you could even create a form within your project management software, which I think is even more streamlined, right? So yeah,
Yep. Cool. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I think we can go into build out. It
sure.
should be very simple.
Yeah,
So okay, so we'll start with the form. That we can make one in Asana as well. But at the minimum, if you're watching this show, at the minimum, the value of this process and system really comes from the idea that you're setting the expectation with the client to submit a request in one place. That's really the that's 80% of the value of the system. The segmenting, the routing to the right person, getting into project management, I would say is secondary, because the fact that you've been able to set the expectation with the client that hey, this is the one place you need to kind of submit a form or like submit a request. Getting it all in one place is an achievement for you and your agency. Right? It doesn't matter if you have to manually go to responses to check for them, or you put it on a sheet, or you get fancy, put it in a Zap, in an Asana, or whatever. The fact that you've been able to set that expectation is the win. So start there, right? So with the form itself, keep it simple. I know we had some client ID stuff going on, but you don't have to do that. So maybe you can name it the agency. So let's say our support ticket form. Make some fancy words here as to why you need it. At the minimum, you just need their name, probably, just to know who it is, which client it is, and then their email, so you can reach out to them if you use email, right? And you might say, hey, I thought we were removing email here. No, the point here is to manage the inflow of messages so you have control, right? The difference between you sending out stuff through one channel and your clients sending you stuff from 20 different places is everything, right? So, yes, you're still probably going to follow up with them some way, but at least now you're controlling the inflow of information, right? So, that's the first step. And of course, there are more complicated stuff in the future. You can use a support ticket system and all that, but start with this. Next would be name, email, and like the most simple way is just to ask, "How can I help you?" or like, what specific questions you can help you with, and so forth, right? And it's always good to add this question: What have you already done to solve this? Because you want to know if the client actually did something already. Because what you don't want is like they ask for support, they're like, "Hey, we need a new promo built out for my campaigns," right? and you like, okay, cool, let's do it, and you route it to the right person works on it, only know a day later that the client already worked on 70% of it. They already have the ad, you already have the copy, they have this and that, and your media buyer is also working on the same thing just because you didn't know what they already did, right? So it's always a good question to add as well, like what have you already done, so you don't have to like work from scratch. And yeah, what else do you think we can add here, Fran, if there's
No,
anything?
I think that's pretty much it. Just basic stuff.
Nice. So section it a bit, make it look a bit nicer. Contact details. All right, so that's it. We're done. The show ends right now. Okay.
Woohoo! There you go, man.
Um, yeah. So very very simple again. So if I'm gonna copy this, open it here. And that's it. Brand it a bit if you want. You can put a header, change the color, but at a minimum, this one will help you kind of like set the expectation with the client and basically, put all stuff in one place, right?
Look,
So
guys, we have
step
a
one.
client doing 60, 70K a
Mhm.
month. And their form literally looks like this. It's basically purple. And it's basically it. But then they're doing 60, 70K a month. We're a very lean team. So if they can do it, guys, you can do it, right? And just simplifies everything, simplifies your life. It's not the system, like what Reynard said, which is super key. It's not like the actual system, but it's the behavior that changes because of the system, right? You're training your
Mhm.
clients to use this one thing rather than bug you in multiple different channels, which affects your focus, affects the time that you spend in the business, and information just gets lost, right? And you don't want that, especially with with an agency. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let us know. I know there are a couple of people watching here, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So what happens here, man? Like, okay, they fill this up, it goes to like an Asana project, right? Or a project
Yeah.
management task. Yeah.
Yeah. So the simplest version is when you fill this up. At the minimum, it's gonna go to where the form software keeps it, right? If you use Jotform or Typeform or whatever, use whatever you're most comfortable with. Specific questions help, and at the minimum, you're probably not gonna get a lot of responses, so you can even get away with just looking at this and just like, okay, well, what are the questions? Create a sheet. But again, if you want to become fancy, then of course there's always room to be fancy. So you can then go ahead and create zaps and stuff to create stuff like Asana projects and tasks and so forth. So we can go through that really quickly here. I think we can do it
I think we
here.
even have a training. I mean, if you guys just want a more in-depth training, I think Daniel Flowers can hook you up with the specific guide on how to do this. But it's super
Yeah,
simple though. Like you don't even need to be like a coder or anything.
yeah, for sure. We've made shows on enrollment. Here, this is one, probably the AYA8. So you guys can look at our guide section. We talk about forms a lot. AYA12 is one. So look at that. Actually, the reason why we paused the show is we ran out of stuff to talk about.
You
They're
can only
just
do
like,
so much with forums, it gets boring at some point.
yeah, because again, the principles are the same. No, I guess the principles and the systems are the same, but their use cases could be different, right? So the support ticket form is just another way to achieve a certain goal, but the principle of a form, using the form to collect all information, to standardize information intake, are things that we've been talking about week after week for almost 2 years now. So, but yeah, so let's build it out. Let's keep it simple. This is AY 49. And then so
I can't believe
first
we've
in
done this
Zapier,
for 2 years.
yeah.
Wow.
So for Zapier, you want the trigger to be the form. A trigger in Zapier, if you're new to automations, again, we have a lot of training around Zapier, but a trigger is basically what starts your automation. So it's basically ask yourself like, what do I want to happen that will kick off my process or automation? In this case, we want it to be kicked off when someone responds to the form. So we're gonna select Google Forms here. We're gonna choose an event, which is new response in a spreadsheet. Basically spreadsheet form, because Google form responses are stored in a spreadsheet. That's why it asks for a spreadsheet. Let's use my Google Forms account, I believe. The spreadsheet we'll use is not here. I have to create one. So you're going to have to go here, click this, and create the spreadsheet first. Basically, it's this one where you can see your request is all in here. So if I choose the spreadsheet here, let me try to this. Probably have to refresh it because I just made it. So you can see our support ticket form. Here you go. The worksheet is the first sheet, and we click continue. We test the trigger, continue, and we're done, right? So now we've been able to pull information. You can see it's able to pull data that was submitted. Very, very nice. So now from here, your imagination is your limit. So you can create something, click up, send an email. So if you want to be fancy, you can send an email to the person like, hey, we've received your support request. Give us 24 to 40 hours to respond. So again, very easy. So example this, just to show you what's possible. Again, you can send an email, get the data from the previous step. So that's how Zapier works. You can then pull data from previous steps. So if your first trigger is a form, you can get the information from the form and pass it to the next software, which in this case is Gmail in this example. So we put the Gmail here. We create from my username, of course. From name, that's already good. Subject, support, request received. And then you can go like, hey, and you can add a name. Hey, name, thanks for submitting um, your support ticket. Someone on our team, and we'll get back to you before this is ours or whatever it is. Best ARF team. Simple as that, and now it's done, right? So click continue, and we can test it if you want. If you don't want, you can skip it. But let's test. Will it really send the email? It says it does, and we're done. So that's step two. Again, you can do whatever you want. The last maybe piece we can show you is how it can create a task for you. So let me choose an event to create a task. So, again, someone submits the form, and the task would be created. So let's try it out. Well, let's use the admin or development. It's loading. So we're gonna choose ARF for sure. Let's choose a random project, like I don't know. I think it's like a test progress tracker we have. We're gonna assign it support request. So request itself, and maybe we can put like what we've done already here and here. So what have you done already? And again, we can put variables in from previous steps. And then due date, like Fran said, is you can do like tomorrow, maybe. So like one day after of sorts. But for now, let's see if it's assigned to myself. And everything else should be good. So if I click continue here, okay, that's a review. Let's see if it works. There you go, support request. There you go. Right. So that's basically it. So again, very simple. It took maybe 5 minutes. It could be even faster if you create a form within Asana or ClickUp directly. But we can run through the entire thing so everyone can see the possibilities of this one. So let's go back to the form, submit another response, put your name in, my email, and maybe the client's like, I'm not getting leads anymore.
Sad
My,
face.
my CRM isn't working. Nothing. Forgot this form. Yeah, that's funny because some people do this. I see our support requests like, oh,
Oh
have you
yeah.
done this, all this? And they say, I've filled out this form. Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, again,
um,
there's one client that comes to mind that does that a lot.
yeah, so
Yeah,
let's
man.
submit it. And sometimes Google Forms take maybe 3 to 5 minutes. So let's give it a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fran, what do you have to say so far about the build out?
No, so guys, I mean, honestly, super simple, right? And you can even go advanced. Like after the third step, you can assign the right, like you can assign people to the task, right? And even add due
Mm,
dates to it. depending on what the task is. So instead of it going to you as the owner, it could go to the account manager, or if it's a, you can go fancier by like, if it's a media buying task, it goes to the media buyer. If it's a creative, it goes to the graphic designer, right? So you can go crazy with that. But again, just remember, the whole point is to change the behavior of the client, right? It's not the actual system, but it's the behavioral change that we're after here, right? It's having them depend on the system, not on the person, not on the owner, right? And that's what you want, right? That's what you want in your agency. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, dude.
Nice, cool. So let's see if there used to be a way where you could force the trigger directly. I forgot how to do it, or they removed it. Um,
Manually run it. No, it's not there anymore.
yeah, it's not there anymore, right? It used to be.
Yeah,
Maybe there's no more manual running. Sad. So
maybe
I
they're
didn't get an
yeah,
email yet. But yeah, Google Forms take probably five, 3 5 minutes to actually run.
yeah.
But as you can see a while ago, it did great the task, right? So
Yeah, that's fine. And so, a more streamlined way also is, if you don't want to use forms, you can also use Asana or ClickUp or whatever. They also have their own form function, right? And yeah, and you basically just do the exact same thing that Raynert did. Yep, you just create the form and it will route it to the right thing, right? It will create the task. So super simple again. Same setup, right? So yeah. Um,
yeah, exactly the same. Yep.
Yeah, and over time, you're gonna see a lot more support tickets coming in that have patterns from the older support tickets. So, what we've started to do in our business is create an FAQ database where, if we see certain questions pop up that are similar, we just put the answers on one document or a spreadsheet, and that way our support team, it's like they just look at the support, the FAQ database, and they're like, well, this question is similar to this question, so I'm just gonna send this answer. It just streamlines the entire thing. So yeah, and then I think other than that, I was gonna ask you, Rainer, like I know someone in your, in the Augment team already builds the apps and all that, right? But when's the last time you actually built the Zap? It's been a while, or have you
Yes, it's
delegated that
been a
to the team?
while. I'm rusty. Like I probably
Yeah,
haven't visited Zapier. Oh, there it is. Zapier in maybe 6 months or so.
yeah,
uh,
and
yeah.
and look, guys, like if you're a business owner and you don't want to, have to learn and do all of these things, here's a quick thing. We've been doing this for the last 2 years, right? Operations, fulfillment systems, automation. So we've been building it out for clients, but we've come to a point where right now what we're doing in ARF is we're finding and training operations managers for you that know how to build systems, that know how to build automations. They've basically been through all of our trainings. We have systems engineers in our company, Agency Rocket Fuel, and what we're doing is we're just replicating these people and staffing them into our clients' businesses so that you can get to a point where you can just envision what it is that you want to do, and you have your operations manager, your specialist actually implementing that vision for you, right? And so we're in the works right now of getting this program set up. We're super close, but if you guys want first dibs on it, just let me know, send me a message. I can give you some more information on how that works. But this is the best way that we've seen agency owners free up their time by having the right systems and the right person by their side, right? And this is how Reynard has basically just removed himself, right, from the agency, because one, he has the right people and he also has the right systems, and the people and the systems, they work together, and it just gives Reynard freedom of time, right? So yeah, so
Exactly. Yeah. And like you have to, you might ask us like, yeah, I can spend the next 10 minutes to build a simple form like this, but who's going to take care of improving it? Who's going to take care of adding more steps to this app for so it's more robust? Is it going to be me, the business owner? I thought it took me 10 minutes to build this and my life is easier. That's really the use case that we've seen that, yes, although we've created really great transformation with a lot of our clients, I think the next logical step for us to is to really help them continue building the systems by placing the right people into their team, right? So as you can see, the email was sent here just like that, and the task was created in here. There you go. Support request. It was added to me. And again, you can add fancy things later and stuff, but that's really where we see the use or the need for our clients to actually have dedicated people in their team that they can work with every single day to build their systems. It's because these things don't end. These things don't stop after a certain build out. They always grow. They probably break as you grow. So it's important that after you set the foundations in place, you still have someone to build on those foundations over time, right? But first, get the foundations first. So if you're watching this video, you have no form at all, get this done, incorporate it in your sales, incorporate slightly in your fulfillment. Then we can, if you want to complicate things or make things a bit fancier, more efficient, and you don't know how to, feel free to reach out, and we're happy to point you in the right direction.
I love it. So that's it. That is our support ticket system, guys. Now, if you want more walkthroughs like these, there's 50 plus hours of content in the guide section of this Facebook group. Comment I want more training down below if you want our help to personalize the content for you. We're not going to sell you anything. We're just going to basically personalize everything for you, where we ask you a couple questions and then we'll give you our top 3 to 4 show recommendations that you can start with, so you don't have to go through all 50 plus hours of content. Second is, if you want our help to find, recruit, and train an operations manager that has been through our Rocket OS system, that has built systems for all of our 6 and 7 figure clients, let me know. Send me a DM. I'm happy to share more information. Again, we're just in the process of building this new program out. But if you want first dibs, let me know. And yeah, we'll kind of take it from there. So that's it for our show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any other questions, let us know in the comments section below. This has been Automate Your Agency Show number 49. And we'll see you guys in episode 50. Wow. Think about, yeah, it's 50 episodes. So see you guys, and have a good day ahead. Thanks.
Guys, talk soon.